All right.
Good morning, REC Nation. Welcome to the first Sunday brunch with REC. And you have Simos and I today. Usually you would see Jazz beside Simos. Jazz is in Mexico right now. So I am taking the hot seat here in his instead of him. And I look forward to having a good discussion. This is the first live that you and I have done.
First and foremost, Happy New Year to the entire REC Nation from the GTA. This is your boy Simeon. And as Tyler said, Jazzy is taking some well-deserved time off. He's down south with his entire family, and I'm talking extended family. So I'm hoping they're having an amazing time. For all of you that are back in business, for all of you who are taking that little vacay, I hope you are enjoying yourself. I hope you've had a time, some time to reflect the crazy year that was 2022 for the entire globe, but not just us. And we're here to hopefully try and make sense out of some things this morning, or at least add our 2 cents. And hopefully those 2 cents are valuable to everybody who's watching this morning, because we are being bombarded every single day with more news, with more developments, and we do need to sit down every so often and really take the time to interpret what these things mean and what they mean to us as real estate investors, as real estate salespeople, as citizens in this great nation. Where are we headed, and what exactly is happening? Tyler, I know you wanted to focus on a couple of things this morning as far as what we're doing this year, what we've planned for this year. Why don't you touch on a few of those matters, my man?
Yeah. So this year, we're going to be focusing first and foremost on just getting back to the community a little bit more. We're going to be finally going back to in-person events, and I'm really excited about that. I think our first one, CMOS, is planned for, I want to say the second week of February, but it's around the second week of February. So everyone that is listening right now, just keep an eye out for our emails. I'm sure we're going to be calling you and emailing you a lot beforehand anyways to let everyone know. But we're trying to kick off the year really, really, really well when it comes to value for our REC insiders. So it's going to be a great marketplace, a lot of education, and hopefully a lot of REC insiders. I just miss seeing everybody face to face. So
yeah, so I think we've made that decision. I think 2022 we were kind of titter-tottering if we're going to do spirit of the season. We kind of surveyed our people. Everybody just said, you know what, just scrap it this year. It was back when, again, that whole COVID was resurfacing in China and making news. We're like, you know what, let's not add fuel to the fire. We've played it safe now for almost 3 years. Let's just drop it. And 2023 is going to be the year that, God willing, we're going to be back in live. Excuse me, back live across all our events, and that's our education events, our opportunities events, our summer barbecue, and of course, spirit of the season to end the year off, hopefully with a big bang and a big celebration, like we always have in the past, raising money for the women's shelter and sick kids. So hopefully we have a healthy year ahead of us, first and foremost, because without our health, we have nothing. And hopefully we get to see all your amazing faces and all your amazing energy soon in person.
So I'm trying to plan a volleyball tournament if we can with all of our REC insiders who are local. I just want to play volleyball. I spoke
did you
about
just
that
say
with
volleyball?
Yeah.
Do you want to share with our insiders the last time we played volleyball together?
So we were at like a Young Builds event, and
explain what that is. It's the Builders Association. So all the real estate builders, they throw this huge party in the summertime, and this was the under 35. So it's all young people, long big towers.
I think every team except for ours must have practiced like a few weeks in advance because we were getting smoked. And at one point, the best part of the whole day, we were playing volleyball. Simos hits the ball up, and I was trying to get the ball from him, like the second hit. You don't move, and I end up just hitting a wall, aka you, and just crumpling. Oh, that was fun. We didn't win a single game, but I think we had the most fun, and
Definitely.
that was great. Another thing that we're going to be doing, and I know we spoke about it a lot last year as well. That's my whole segment, which is real estate action plan. And the real estate action plan is really important because it's a good way for REC to learn what all of our insiders are trying to accomplish, where they are currently in the real estate portfolio, and try to build a laddering plan. If you're not having a 5-year outlook in your real estate plan, it's really hard to focus on what's the next purchase. I find if you don't know big picture, you're going to get lost with all the different opportunities that are presented to you, right? And the real estate action plan is something that we're putting a lot of energy towards. We did last year. We spoke with, I did the count, we spoke with the most REC insiders last year compared to all the other years when it comes to these plan building sessions. I think it was over 150 appointments that I had with REC insiders last year in doing those plan building sessions. And they're just going to get better, more concrete plans, more outbound actual PDFs of their plans in our discussion notes. And for us anyways, for REC, it's the only way for us to really be able to help. We have to know who you are and as an investor, and what's your big picture plan. So we help build those laddering plans. I'm excited for that.
And I do want to add a little bit to that, Tyler. The reason our focus is shifting so strongly to the individual plan is because this market, this economy, and these circumstances, they have created an environment that, so in a rising tide, when the market was on fire, all boats float and perform their best. In a rising tide, all ships lift.
Yeah.
When the chips are down, who is left in the harbor? How do you look in the harbor? If you own 4 properties and you're on variables and you're $2,000 up on each property in monthly payments, what is that doing to each individual investor right now? I'm not sounding alarms or promoting nonsense, because every single one of you, if you went through us anyways, you would have known exactly what to do right now. But not everybody did. Not everybody has 4 properties. But I was speaking to my business partner, Jazz Tekar, specifically. In one of his properties, the payment is up $2,200. $2,200. The payment went up. That's not the payment.
Yeah.
So if that is the case for him, I luckily had locked down my interest rates at 1.9, 1.82, 2.1. What if I didn't?
Yeah.
What if I'm working for fixed income and that happens? What do I do? How do I navigate those waters? So all I'm trying to get at is this. The economy has changed. This morning at 6:30 a.m., I'm a Globe and Mail subscriber, and I received the Sunday Read. For all of you who may not be subscribers to the Globe and Mail, I encourage you. It's a tremendously well-written and contributed article by some of the best minds in the business. Business leaders, economists, banks, insurance companies weighed in, and they cover 5-6 major topics. And it's a free-to-read article, meaning you don't need a subscription for this specific article. But go in and take a look at the Sunday Read, and it's there 2023, what lies ahead.
Yeah.
A lot of my opinion is founded on the opinions and the leadership of some of the authors of this article. So as far as where do I get my insight, how do I educate myself to prepare myself? This is some of the places that I visit, some of the sources that I trust, in order for me to be able to sit here and give my own 2 cents, my interpretation to what we should be doing to protect ourselves, to hedge against what lies ahead. So the real estate action plan for any and all of you is the most important appointment you can make with us. If you have plans, whatever the case, whoever you get your advice from, you do. But if you seek the counsel of the REC as far as building out your portfolio, protecting your portfolio, downsizing your portfolio to diversify further if you need to, the advice you will get from us is individual and circumstantial, specifically to you. So
there's not one plan that's the same.
No,
really.
And it is the best source for them to just email us at info. Tyler, do we have a capture page? Where are we at?
You can either send a text message to any of us. I'm sure that at this point, the majority of REC insiders have one of our numbers and we've spoken. So send a text or send an email.
Or info@reccanada.com.
Info@reccanada, or go to coffeewithrec.com. That's my direct booking page. So you can go there as well and book a one-on-one appointment.
And that's exactly what I want. So coffeewithrec.com.
Correct. Yeah. And Nikki, if you don't mind,
that would be the one. That would be the one because it gets booked directly to you, and then you can sort that out as you see fit. Have the conversation, get our way in if you need it, and of course take it from there.
So some of the REC insiders, and sorry for cutting you off there, Timo. Some of the REC insiders last year, and we're seeing more interest rates since our conversations there. But one of the big challenges that some insiders are seeing in their portfolio is exactly what you said, which is the negative cash flow. Being able to withstand or shield some of this, this growing pains here with interest rates. And what some have done, and because of, and we'll go over what happened last year, but what some have done is they've gotten into some turnkey duplexes, turnkey triplexes, taking advantage of some of the lack of buyers presence, really going in and negotiating opportunity, the opportunity itself, and taking advantage of the rental increases that we're noticing in some of these markets. As there's naturally lack of buyers in the market, more people are renting, and we're seeing, and we're going to talk about it, but we're seeing a huge increase in rental prices, and getting some cash flow right now, even at 5.75% as an interest rate, it's going to offset some of this negative cash flow, so you can at least weather this. And sometimes you got to go into the storm to find the solution. But just to go back with the whole boat analogy, but it is something that a lot of our REC insiders have done. Actually, is look at turnkey duplexes, rent them out, get a little bit of cash flow, and at least you're not so much negative every single month.
There's also some data that we'll be covering today. I did prepare a small presentation, a slide deck that we're going to be covering, only because there is so much data that I wanted to stay on track and on point as much as possible. For all those who do know us, we go offside a lot because there's so much to cover, and I wanted to keep the conversation today as concise as possible to cover off kind of what really matters. And I'm basing today's presentation off the Urban Nation report. For those who don't know what Urban Nation is, it is a private company, a research firm headed by Sean Hildebrand, who is an authority in data, specifically to the GTA high-rise market is where he is absolutely the authority. And we're going to be looking at a few things there. What opportunities has this market, these circumstances created? What do I mean by that? You can buy a condominium in downtown Center Ice for, let's call it $700,000. You can buy the same size and type condominium in Mississauga for $600,000.
Yeah.
You can buy the same unit, same size, same type in Hamilton for $500,000. I'm just using arbitrary numbers to reflect the distance from the core. What has happened in the last year due to the interest rates rising at such a rapid pace, in disqualifying an entire generation's worth of buyer pools.
Yeah.
So Tyler's generation, not mine. It's the one 10 years behind. So I'm 40. So anybody who's 40 plus, I'm 42. But for anybody 40 plus, we escaped that wrath and we were part of the rising tide. The generation directly behind me did not.
Yeah.
And that is who is going to pay the price for all this. And unless we have the education to see the opportunities and uncover them, they're going to stay behind. Those who are savvy and take an interest and dig, because all you have to do is dig a couple layers, not 100 layers of the onion, just a couple. And I'm going to show the biggest delta today being that purchase price and rents are no longer in sync as per market, meaning Toronto being 700,000 and rents being 3,000. Well, Mississauga 600 and rents are 2,800, 29.
Yeah.
So the rents are high everywhere. The prices are adjusting as they should, depending on market, depending on location, but the rents have not. So that creates an opportunity for every single one of you to look into further. And I'm going to show you what tools to use and how to do so in your different markets, whether you're in Vancouver, in Calgary, in Montreal, in Toronto. You can access this data. We can get your data and you can make decisions. So without further ado, I do want to get into some of the stats that are going to lead us into specific conversations time.
Yeah, perfect. Nikki, if you don't mind, bring up the slide. While he's doing that, even markets like, for example, you were saying with my generation and the challenges that we are facing, which is a reality, you just have to be creative, right? Like, what did I do? I still rent in Toronto, and I'm just buying in tertiary, secondary markets I can afford in, right? So, and even London. So I bought a condo in London, and my rents from last year to this year went up over 16% from last year to this year. So
16% would represent some of the smaller gains, if you can imagine.
Yeah.
Imagine double digit in the teens in just 1 year. It's absolutely unfathomable. And the reason for this, everyone, is because home ownership has become further out of reach for the first gen, the first time home buyer, which is a nightmare for the Canadian dream, because we live in a G7 country. Home ownership should be attainable. Not that it's a right, it's still a privilege. We live on a very big planet. Home ownership is not a God-given right to anyone, but it is a privilege that should be within reach in a G7 country. And right now, that is escaping due to the economic landscape. So let's take a look at our very own GTA. This is where we are specialists for any market on the outside. We do have partners, strategic partners all over the nation, whether it's Sudbury to the north, Ottawa, Montreal, the Atlantic provinces, the West Coast. We have the best and brightest brokers that either are on our team or that we collaborate with on a regular basis to guide our people. So wherever you're logging in from, if you need this type of data in this type of detail, we can and will get it for you. Simply email info@reccanada.com.
Yeah, so send us an email and we'll get back to you based off of your micro market, and have a few in there. The more data we have, we're real estate junkies here when it comes to data collection. So the more you ask, the more we'll naturally have to consume. So
let's if we can kick this off, Ty, with slide 12. It's the Urban Nation report.
Sure. So it's going to be hard to read, and for everyone,
and I don't want anyone to read it. I don't want anybody to read it. We will send this off to everyone.
Yeah, we'll include it in our next main email.
Yeah, so we'll put it in. But what this report clearly outlines is the last paragraph specifically. Average prices of 1.08 million in November were down 7% from a year ago, but in line with the average recorded over the past 5 months. Average selling prices we're 19% below the February 2022 peak, but 28% above the pre-pandemic level 3 years ago in November 2019. The latest 20-year average for resale price growth in the GTA was 7.2% a year.
Which is a golden number, right? That's the number we always want to aim for.
So the 40-year is 6.95. So all I want to say to every single person, it is easy to get caught up in the hype, the fear mongering, the craziness that the newspapers, news outlets, clickbaiters, naysayers have to say. What every single homeowner in this province, in this golden horseshoe, in our little bubble called the GTA knows as a fact, and it can be relied upon, is not a 5-year, not a 10-year, not a 20-year, but a 40-year average will glow like neon in your eyes every single day, including at a time where we have the highest adjustments in recorded history, both in interest rates going down to help the pandemic. It was record fast. They dropped to zero.
Yeah.
To zero at the Bank of Canada. All the way back up to 4.25 that they are right now in record time. The ups and downs will always in this market go upwards. And the specific reason is simply because we are in a growing, ever-growing market. We are a desirable geography supported by employment, healthcare, some of the best educational facilities, great weather for North America. We're not the Caribbean, but great weather overall. And for as long as Canada is a desirable, peaceful G7 country, we're going to continue to enjoy immigration targets of 300,000 and 400,000 people a year, with those people, the majority of those people, settling in the urban cores of the country.
And we're already seeing it, the immigration coming in. We have Benji on Jazz's team, and I want to say he's from Nigeria or Ghana or Nigeria, and he has personally his groups of friends, about 8 or 9 people from his hometown that are already here. And this was over the last 2 weeks. He's seeing, a lot of immigration coming in as well. So, we're seeing that, right? And it's good to know, right? The 7%, and the reason why that was something I was laughing at is that's kind of the golden number that we're looking for when it comes to a healthy market with appreciation, is around that 7%. That's what we want to see. We don't want to see
a healthy number would be 4%. 7% is a dream come true. 7% on an asset worth an average of 1.079 million. Fam, we're talking about 70 grand a year, which is why the younger generation again is in trouble. For those who are vested already, this is a dream come true. This entire pandemic and post-pandemic and up and down for investors like myself, I've been licking my chops for 3 years. This is phenomenal. Either prices skyrocket with zero interest rates, or rents skyrocket when the interest rates go up.
Yeah.
Either way, if you own property, it's the perfect storm. It's those that don't own property that are paying the price. And this is where working with an outfit like us, there's many excellent people out there. Find your trusted resource. We truly and humbly ask to be that resource for you. But if you work with us, we're going to find a way to get you into the market for you to be able to tie yourself onto this market. safely, conservatively. But this is the time that you need to get into the market. With that being said, I have been working tirelessly along with Jazz over the last 2 months to identify opportunities. It has not been easy, meaning that in order to use the same sound fundamentals we have used for the last 15 years in our business, with interest rates and prices where they are, it's very difficult to do. It's easy to sell you something. It's very difficult to sell you something that we know is safe, perfect, and good. So we have been working very hard. We are working with a select group of builders and developers right now. The reason we don't have our date locked down in February for the marketplace is because we are still negotiating for you. You don't even know it yet, but I am trying to get a very aggressive package together. And when these aggressive packages come together, somebody has to pay for it. So when you pay X amount of dollars, the developer still has to win while still giving up so much back to the investor. So the negotiation becomes, what if, Mr. Developer, I can sell 10 units, 20 units, or 30 units? If I can do 10 units, this would be what the deal looks like. But if you give me this deal over here, I know you're going to make less per unit. But overall, we're going to take 30% of your inventory. You won't have to worry about it.
Have you been finding
how we do it? That is what we're doing right now. And I am generally hoping that I think we are going to have success. If you guys know me and if you guys know Jazz, you know that we are going to figure out a phenomenal deal. And that's what we're negotiating right now.
Have you been finding that negotiations with developers have been different over the past, let's call it 2022? Like, are they easier to negotiate? Is it harder? Because the developers are feeling the pinch too, right? With construction financing costs going up.
Yeah. So it's people. You would think it's easier because there's more flexibility and not as a massive rush to the inventory. But the developers we want to work with are all well-capitalized developers that can wait. The opportunistic developers that are in a pinch and you can take advantage of, we don't trust enough in their ability to finalize, where we could be aggressive and parasitic like that to say, hey, you're in a pinch, give us this deal, we'll sell your units. But that's how you end up with a cancellation. And we simply don't want a cancellation for our people to have money dead for 2 years. Not that they lose their money, but the opportunity cost is huge. And also for us, that is our income. We need to close these deals to materialize our business. So we need safe, good, well-capitalized developers, and they will not negotiate. Like, they will not lose because they're good developers. So
and they have their margins too, right? They have their margins. They need to be able to sell it at a certain price, right? I think a lot of people, I think a lot of insiders, from what I've been having conversations with, some are saying that they're surprised that pricing isn't going down in pre-construction, but the reality is that things are more expensive now. So, it doesn't really make sense that the price will go down when everything else is going up in regards to their costs. So, what you do instead is you get better incentives on closing, more extended deposit structures. These types of incentives for pre-construction anyways is where investors are going to win, trying to find some of the sweet spots there.
The investor and everyone in real estate, people always confuse money in real estate is made when you buy real estate, not when you sell real estate.
Yeah.
Your purchase price is exactly what matters. Interest rates will go up and down through your ownership path. Purchase price will never change. Never. The minute that you strike, it's the one thing that will never change. So yes, you need to consider all things, but please consider this. the developers that are making money in this market that can wait is because they bought that land 15 years ago and they've had it in the pipe.
Yeah.
So they can sell for X and still make a mint.
And the good ones will wait another year, another 2 years. They've already waited 15.
Because they can.
Yeah.
So anyways, the whole point of the exercise is it's still not an easy market to navigate. We are very blessed and proud of the relationships we've been able to foster over the last 17 years. And at this point, I'm very confident that for our first in-person event, which is also going to be streamed, of course, we're going to have some great opportunities for everyone. I'm not worried about it at all. Let's go to the GTA. Let's go right to the top, Ty. And why don't you take us through a couple of those slides? I'm just going to grab a glass of water, okay?
Yeah, no worries. So before I start the next slide, I have something written here. I just don't want to forget about it. Simos was talking about the challenges younger Canadians face when it comes to home ownership, which is a reality. One type of investment strategy that I think is more and more going to be the reality is joint venture investing, investing with 3-4 other investors. And we are going to be structuring this year some smaller joint ventures as well. So, I think the reality is that we should all be taking advantage of markets like this, but shielding a little bit when it comes to upfront costs as well as expenses. So it's better to do it with 3 or 4 people, even though you give up some of the equity. If anybody's interested in having a joint venture meetup, because I think that the best way for us to learn all about joint venture structureship and how to structure one personally for yourselves is to have a lawyer there, is to have a mortgage broker there, understand the financing process, the legality process. So send a quick email or in the chat if anyone's interested in that. It'd be nice to have a meetup for it. I think an in-person would be better, but we'll also be able to film it for everyone who is out of GTA. So to go back to the real estate stats in the GTA, this is at the end of November. We don't have December stats just yet. So we're seeing 3 major categories that we look at as months of inventory. So if no other unit or listing is put onto the market, how long will it take to sell what we already have available? Average sale prices as well as number of sales. We see the York region, months of inventory, 2.55. Average sale prices, let's call it close to 1.4, and number of sales is 12,852. One thing that you will see if you want to when we send the email out and you download the package is the amount of sales volume has decreased so much over the past year. Like that is one of the reasons I think anyways that we are having
49% decline in sales volume.
And Simos, would you say that's one of the big indicators of why we're able to see the prices that we're still seeing? Like, for example, the 1.4 is because there's 40% less transactions, right? 40% less buyers on the market.
There is 40% less buyers, but also the record low listing.
Yeah.
So the only thing that's so different about this market downturn is that sellers have not done what they always do, which is sell, get scared and sell. People made so much money in the previous 5 years. The price appreciation was so steep where we're still 35% above pre-pandemic level. So why would the seller sell? What is he going to do? Where's he going to go? So that is the unique outlier of this market, which is centered all around. You'll see it all over these stats. The people that got hurt the most during this market are actually real estate agents, because 50% of the business disappeared.
Yeah.
People have not been hurt like what people thought in the beginning. It's just not the case.
Yeah.
So it is safe, sound, and amazing. Please continue. You're doing a great job with exactly where you're taking this.
Yeah. So the Durham region, we see comparing it to the York region, months of inventory is down. The average sale price naturally with Durham compared to York is $1,024,000, and the number of sales is down as well, 9,875 compared to York. The thing to note is we always see the appreciation go from west to east, and we're still seeing so many people wanting to get into Durham because of the price. It is the region, I believe, anyways, in the GTA, after going through all the stats, that has the lowest average sales price. And naturally, it just means that it's more affordable in today's market to investors. We're seeing a ton of development come through Durham. I'm a little bit biased because I love the Durham markets. I was there yesterday. Just some beautiful conservation areas, parks, boutique shops. It's really nice, but it is a market that a lot of buyers are going to. Brampton, months of inventory is 2.53. I think it is the highest for months of inventory. Brampton, I believe, we don't have the full details here, but I think Brampton was the one that was affected the most with the over the past year. We had such a huge increase over 2018, 2019, 2020 in Brampton that it is feeling the brunt, anyways, of some of this market turbulence. You know, in 2020, you would list something and it would sell so quickly, $400,000 over asking or whatever that price is. You know, detached, if it was detached with two car garage, that was selling, you know, for the 1.2s, the 1.3s all day. So, you know, purchasers, maybe the buyers there bought a little bit more than that they can afford, especially with these interest rates, or maybe they were buying at the top of their budget with the low interest rates. So we are seeing some turbulence there in Brampton.
I do want to stick, if you want to just go to Brampton for a second, because I have two things to say about Brampton. And it's important to understand Brampton. It's important to understand Markham. In any given geographical market that you have a high presence of immigrants, you're going to have a higher amount of speculation. And it's not because the Chinese or the Southeast Asians are gamblers. It's because immigrants are inherently bigger risk takers. They will take more risk than the third generation family in Canada because they've already done that.
Yeah.
They've had to leave home before. They've had to make a leap before. They've had to have faith before. So the actual profile of the human being in those markets, where inherently Brampton is a Southeast Asian city for the most part, generalizing. But when you have either a massive newcomers from China in Markham, newcomers from Southeast Asia in Brampton, you are going to have more spec because the actual profile of the human being there is more tolerant to risk. So that is my observation. And you see this exact thing that happened in Brampton, which is now kind of over. And congratulations to our client, Marcia Bafao, and her husband for putting their trust in Mr. Sumit Tagar, one of our biggest superstar
Sumit's
agents.
a beast. Yeah.
Sumit is not only is he a beast, they had their home listed with another agent last year. When that expired and they did not get the result they wanted, Sumit sold that house in multiple offers, higher than asking, more than market in 4 months in Brampton. For anybody who wants that live example, this isn't making stuff up. Reference it directly. Get Marcia's permission, of course, first, if she would like to use her example for the people. But we got a tremendous result. Congrats to Sumit for getting the job done. And congrats to our wonderful clients in Brampton for getting what they deserve to get for their home. And it's almost $2 million. So amazing.
Are you seeing the listing strategy, listing low, holding back offers? Are you seeing that work in some markets right now?
It will always work in some markets, not in this one. This one, you need to be connected.
Yeah.
In markets that are tough, Sumit just knows the community. He knows how to get deals done. He's a closer. He reached out to his network. The power, not all doctors are the same. Not all agents are the same.
Mm-hmm.
There's people who will do more because that's what they do. This isn't a time to be playing with part-timers or, they're very nice. They're my neighbor. No, man, get serious. There's people who do this for a living and there's people who are sharks. Sumit is a shark. He will get the job done if it's the last thing he does. Anyways, congrats to everybody involved. Brampton is a fickle market right now. There's pockets inside Brampton, obviously all the micro markets inside the city that matter. If you're looking for guidance in some of these a little bit tougher markets, please reach out to the team. We have some of the best rosters for Brampton.
Running performer-wise in Brampton for duplexes and triplexes, it is a good market because of the turbulence right now to get in. I'm noticing some pretty good cash flow. The rents are obviously there. We'll talk about that, but it is one of the markets I like to focus on with investors.
Sure.
So next is Mississauga. Oh, there you go, Simos. This is your hometown here. We got months of inventory 2.6. Average sale price is 1,117, and number of sales is 6,855. I think that's the biggest number here. The number of sales. It's in a market like Mississauga to have sub 7,000 sales is so surprising. Like, compare it, right? Compare that Durham to Mississauga, and I think Durham's a little bit.
And that's as clean as affordability. So if you were to compare Mississauga to Durham, what's the difference? A couple $100,000, but that couple $100,000 is all the difference.
And especially when mindset is to try to stomach the least amount of expenses right now.
Of course.
Right?
As it should be.
But a ton of development happening in Mississauga. Like they have the Justice League of Developers coming together and building on the water. I forget what's that the new master plan community called there?
Yeah, so there's two majors. One is at Lake Promenade, and that's led by Diamond Kilmer, Tridel, in a consortium. And then you have the one at Port Credit, where it's Brightwater. Again, a massive consortium of builders. The Mississauga waterfront is going to be, I would say, the crown jewel of the coastline.
And is it because of
inside the GTA?
It looks so good, and it's funny. I just call the Justice League of Builders. It's just like everyone's together at a table, circling Mississauga, saying this
on
is
Harbor Walk. Yeah.
On Harbor Walk, yeah. And why is it that Mississauga we're seeing this type of these types of groups coming together?
Well, it's just that waterfront has just never been leveraged properly. In a time where if you're going to build 5 blocks north versus on the water, there's just a massive advantage to lifestyle. People are seeking, access to highway and employment, but at the same time, they want a lifestyle. They don't want to sacrifice one for the other. And in a place like Port Credit, where you have, 150 restaurants, pubs, coffee shops, beautiful trails along the water, why wouldn't you want to look in the water, go to sleep looking at the water, wake up looking at the water, and within 15, 20 minutes, you're at the office? Why not?
Yeah. And Mississauga was planned for growth, right? Whereas I think Toronto was planned after growth. It's more, instead of Toronto's more reactive in planning, whereas Mississauga is more proactive, I find. So it's a good note there. Is Mississauga, like, are they Toronto's pretty pro build, so it's a little bit harder. Like, but Mississauga is pretty pro build as well, I take it.
Well, I don't know what Toronto you're talking about that's pro-built. It's taken 40 years to get them to get rid of, hopefully, exclusionary zoning. But no, Toronto as a fundamental basis is always pro-growth. It's just such a slow process because of the NIMBYism inside the neighborhoods. That's what slows down growth. Our councillors, our mayor, none of them have ever been really so against growth, because they know the benefits of growth and it's inevitable. But the NIMBYism, where we give regular citizens the power to slow down what's best for all, is a problem. And what we're looking to do right now, and when I say we, I am personally actively advocating for this, because I know the benefit of it, both financially, community, and forward progress wise, is to get rid of exclusionary zoning in the city of Toronto.
Yeah.
Meaning that, let's say, for example, any home, any bungalow within 500 meters of a subway does not need minor variance to put up a fourplex.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to do it, go see your architect, make sure you're up to code with all the things, and build your fourplex. You turn a property from being a single bungalow at $7 or $8 a month into 4 units of housing at $2,500 a month.
Yeah.
You as an owner and investor win because you have higher revenue, but the community now has homes that everybody can afford. That is the point. So as community builders, as housing providers, that's who we are as investors. That is what we're looking to do. So that's the future. And going back to Mississauga experiencing exponential growth. They have huge infrastructure investments across all of Highway 10, which is here, Ontario, with an LRT.
Yep.
And that's why we've seen at least 30 towers launch in the last 5 years, with probably 30 more coming over the next 5. Because now that whole street is connected right from the lake all the way into the depths of Brampton across here, Ontario, Highway 10.
It's funny with NIMBYism too. Like the ones who are against a lot of this build, they're also one of the first to complain about homelessness, and seeing it around the city is like, can't have your cake and eat it too, right?
Well, that's just it. Selfishness never serves anyone, and it creates more losers than anything. There is a time where specific type of people need to either, if they're not comfortable anymore in their neighborhood because 30 years ago it was a dream and now it's not, well, that's life. Yeah. Life changes, shifts, areas move, change, and shift. Maybe this neighborhood is no longer right for you. Mm-hmm. And I know it's not fair. Oh, why do I have to move? Well, because the world is shifting around you. If you are seeking beautiful, peaceful, maybe you need to move a little bit out, because people are trying to still make a living and start something. And we have to be respectful and cognizant of the greater good versus our own self-interest, in my opinion. So as your life changes, as everything changes, we need to be cognizant of each other and what's good for all of us. And sometimes it is making those sacrifices. That's just my 2 cents.
Yeah. If the sacrifice means going out to a cottage by the lake, I'll take that sacrifice for sure.
Or maybe it means you need to spend 1.7 to go to Oakville, pal. Maybe that's what it means.
So in Oakville, we're seeing, I think, the most months of inventory. So slowest transactions, it's noticing, and that's obviously as a result of the average sales price, which is 1.6, and the number of sales, 2,560. So it's significantly down, right? So it's a market. We are seeing some development, though. We are seeing some more affordable homes come in, like townhome development, some high-rise development, but the majority of them, the homes anyways, are those detached, maybe semi-detached homes in these markets, right? So
no, there's great opportunity in Oakville. Oakville, we recognize the need for affordable or more affordable housing, and what we're seeing there, it's a lot of investors that are local, as well as a lot of first-time home buyers where the family lives in Oakville or Burlington, and the kids are buying the condos at Dundas and Trafalgar, at Dundas and Walker's Line, Dundas and Appleby, those huge plazas that are all commercial and now are getting peppered with mid-rise and townhome developments. That is who's buying them up, and there's great growth potential there. So keep your eyes open for opportunities in the Oakville, well, in all of Halton, really. Halton is a great market, safe market.
Toronto.
Oh, there it is.
There we go.
A beast.
Months of inventory, 3 months. Average sale price is 114, and number of sales is 27,769. Is that under the average sale price of Mississauga? No, a little over. Oh no, it's around the same. Then you can equate the average sale price to obviously those condos, those 1 bedrooms, 1+10s, 2 bedrooms that are under the $1 million mark. That's, helping keep those average sale prices around that 114, right?
Yeah, but don't kid yourself. You're not getting a detached house in Toronto for 1-1. I'll tell you that much.
No. Hey, I'm keeping an eye on Birchcliff. That's where I want to be, Simos. So that's on our vision board there, Birchcliff.
But as you should. What a phenomenal neighborhood. What a beautiful area Birchcliff is.
Yeah. It's on the board. A few years.
You got it. Let's move on a little bit here. I think I want to wrap this thing up. GTA, Urbanation, we talked about this. So let's make sure, Ty, we get this sent out to everyone. This average rent price was the big one that I talked about, that I touched on, and I'll say this one more time.
Yeah, these are great reports.
So these reports reflect the number of units rented, meaning the absorption, the average purchase price, the average price by bedroom, broken down by bedroom.
Yep.
These are the averages for the GTA. What I spoke about is identifying holes in the GTA. As we have said a million times, the GTA is not one market. It's 200. Yeah. It could be 1,000 if you wanted it to be. You can break it down as granular as you wish. The more you break it down, the better equipped you are to make a decision. The more engineers we have dissecting information with their little pinky rings, the more opportunity we will find. Why is that? Here. Because you cannot compare one to the other. Mm-hmm. The financial district in Toronto is not the core in Mississauga. Two different demographics. In the financial district reside 2 stockbrokers, 2 lawyers, 2 engineers, 2 software developers. The core in Mississauga, it's your son and your daughter that are just living close to mom and dad, right by the mall and convenience, right by the GO train so they can get downtown to their service position. It's not the same demographic.
Yeah.
So the demand is fueled by different things. You just need to know. You need inside knowledge to understand who your client is, i.e. the tenant, who your buyer is, the end user. You need to know. So when we know rents are almost identical, so the person on Bay Street is paying as much as the person at Square One, there is an opportunity to buy real estate at Square One right now.
Yeah. Yep.
There's an opportunity to buy units in Pickering right now. There's an opportunity to buy in Markham right now. Why am I saying these markets? Because they have a GO train station. Mm-hmm. They're the exact same, east, north, or west. They're outside markets, non-core, that you're going to buy for 100,000, 200,000 less than in the core and get the same rent. Don't keep yourselves.
It's not like Mississauga. So it's not like just from experience of helping investors screen tenants and drawing leases, saying no to some prospective tenants depending on their qualification. It's not like you're comparing London to Toronto. Like London, I had to say no, 50 times at least for the first round, and not 50, but whatever, around like 30 actually. And compared to Mississauga and Toronto, by the end of the 2 weeks, let's say, of showings, if you do it properly, you should have 4 or 5 qualified tenants that you can pick from.
Yep.
So if the process and the time to rent is the same,
maybe stop sharing the screen.
Yeah, sure. Nikki, do you mind?
Perfect.
If the process and the time to actually go and rent out the unit is the same, but you can save some money, or affordability is a little bit different compared to Mississauga and Toronto, it is a good consideration to think about Mississauga or to think about Pickering, these types of markets, right?
I do, but I also want to remind everyone, this is for fundamental buy and hold real estate strategy, where this is an opportunity right now. But on the same token, today, Sunday, January 8th at 2 p.m., I'm going to be downtown Toronto looking at Greywood, one of the best developers in the country, their Centricity project, downtown Toronto. So am I speaking out of one side and doing something else? The answer is no. Centricity Condo that is launching on Tuesday is going to represent one of the best opportunities of the year. Why is that? Because the location and the price point right now, in a 5-year timeline to build, because it's a huge project, is something. This is going to be the lowest anybody will ever buy that unit for.
Mm-hmm.
So is it cash flowing today? No. Is there a delta in this one? No. This is pre-con 5 years out. But this is on Ryerson campus. Excuse me, Toronto Metropolitan University's campus.
Yeah.
With Humber beside it, Ryerson beside it, St. Mike's Hospital beside it, Bay Street a skip and a throw away. The tenant profiles are going to be magic.
Eaton Center right there.
So again, but like the price points inside Toronto have become out of reach for many. But for any and all of our investors, the reason we're not doing a formal massive launch like we normally do for them is because we can't get enough of the units.
Yeah.
But if there is anybody interested, like 5-10 units, we can. That's a no-brainer. That's what we always do. But just so everybody knows, there will be an email next week coming out to give that opportunity to a few of you to make some early 2023 investments. And this one is off the charts. It's a Greywood development right at Dundas, right beside not Yonge and Dundas, but Church and Dundas, excuse me. Whereas you'll be able to get center ice real estate with extremely strong incentives for both deposits and otherwise. So just stay tuned. Send us an email if you're interested. I will be there today. So that's what my afternoon looks like.
Yeah, that's great. Some developer information sessions. That's amazing.
Well, we're educating our brokers, so this is all going to their databases as well. So I'm bringing the team down, get them educated on the product so they understand it in and out, so they can run their numbers for rental projections and everything else as well, right? So we have to prepare.
If you can buy on center ice, it's different for the buy and hold strategy as well, right? Location is still the number one indicator that we like to look at.
Well, just imagine where rents are going to be in 5 years. Come on.
Yeah.
So anyways, I'm extremely excited for it. Tyler, I want to say that you did a tremendous job this morning. Thank you for being a lighter version of Jazz. I liked it a lot.
It was fun. I really enjoy my sessions because I can speak with insiders. But this was great, and I appreciate you guys allowing me to fill in for Jazz's spot. Before we go, are you for resolutions? Like, do you have New Year's resolutions yourself? Like, do you set them?
I've changed quite a bit. No, I don't. I have massive goals, but I don't like the wait for Jan 1st.
Yeah.
So I have lots of goals for 2023 that I started on in mid-November.
Yeah, you need to have motivation, right? And
I don't like tricking myself. So I like I'm enjoying the discipline of it. So I implemented all of that with my health that I've changed tremendously on, as well as my business. As far as discipline, I'm the most disciplined I've ever been. So
amazing. That's great, and you look great. So that's good.
Cheers to that, and cheers to everyone on their resolutions.
Yeah, hey, for me, it's to be more present when more present here, more present with my family. I find that being mindful in the actual moment itself is something I'm working on. We get busy, right? And that's something that I'm going to be trying to do. And other than that, I just want to play volleyball. So just to circle back to the volleyball event, let's get that done.
Let's make it happen.
We'll do that to beat this.
100%. So I definitely want to sign off to all our amazing REC insiders. Thank you for watching. To all of those who are going to be catching this as a recording, thank you for your time. You're always appreciated. We wish you the absolute healthiest, strongest, wealthiest, anything that you seek in your life. We hope you find in this upcoming year. and we hope to be a part of your journey at any point, whether you need a helping hand, if you want to let us know of a charity that you're working on, if you need real estate advice, obviously, but whatever you need, we're here for you. So with that being said, I'm going to go for a drive. My kids are going to piano and guitar, and then I have to rush back to head downtown to Centricity. So signing off from Mississauga, everyone be well. I will see you all very soon. Lots of love.
And I'll see everyone in 2 weeks for the Brunch with REC.
Awesome. Later, Ty.